Staying on the path that I've chosen, straight up, come my way, and I'll see you at the top. 'Cause something's gonna happen in this story.
So my name is Ayo, and this is my husband Yair. We're both 26 years old. We've been on the road for just over 2 years, in the RV for just under 2 years, and we're blogging at ourtakeonfreedom.wordpress.com.
Having grown up in New York City, I'd seen some amazing feats. I'd seen wild skyscrapers. I lived in a city of millions of people that was densely packed. But I knew that the United States is a huge place. It's not all like fantastic, dense population centers, and there was lots of gorgeous open space out west, and that was something that I really wanted to see. Until a year and a half ago, I had never been to a national park. Now I've been to many. I think it's one of the national park system is one of the treasures that our country has, and is something we do incredibly well. And I really think that people in the United States spend lots of money and lots of time traveling to other places to see things that we have in our country that are just as spectacular.
For me, a big part of it was when I first started in management consulting, I loved it, and I thought I was going to do it forever, and then it became draining when you are wearing a business suit and in meetings and you need to act a certain way and speak a certain way and be a certain way for 12, 15 hours of the day. You're going to become that person. And like Yair said, I didn't want to spend my 20s in a cubicle, and there was just this idea of if you could save, if you could live off of, say, a third of your salary, then for every 1 year that you work, that buys you 2 years of freedom. And then we were also introduced to this idea of mini retirement, that instead of waiting until your 60s working your butt off at a job hopefully you like, maybe you don't, for this elusive idea of one day being able to do what you want, to take time in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and just live and experience and enjoy. And that was a big part of the motivation. So when I left my job and then Yair quit his, it was February, and neither of us were huge fans of the New York winter. And so we were thinking, how are we going to start our travels? And Yair suggested that we rent an apartment in Miami Beach for a month or two, just splurge a little bit to get away from the cold weather. And I thought that was a great idea, but Yair can sit and read all day and be perfectly content, and I look for people and activities and things going on. And so I got this idea that wouldn't it be cool to live on an all-inclusive luxury resort? And of course then the issue was budget, because it was way too expensive to be able to do that. And so I researched a few different places, picked out my top picks, and pitched to the manager to let us come down there and stay for free as guests, and in exchange we would offer a couple of hours of programming each day. And so it ended up working out. They went for it. I taught a little bit of yoga and Zumba, maybe a little Spanish. Yair did astronomy programming, and they flew us down and paid for our travel insurance and put us up for 2 months on this amazing resort in the Dominican Republic. And it was a pretty good way to start our adventure.
In terms of where RVing came from, as far as I know, it came from a Gmail message that I sent to Ayo in January 2010, which came from somewhere. The name of our RV is RV, A-R-V-I-E, and he is a 1999 Tioga 23B made by Fleetwood. We got RV with 24,000 miles on it, so in a little less than 2 years of travel, we have had to do nothing to the vehicle side of things other than change oil, which is fantastic. And looking back on it, RVing has made me incredibly handy, because the few things that have gone wrong with the house side of things, I've been able to almost all of them I've been able to deal with myself.
So there's 4 primary ways that we're funding this adventure. One was through saving and frugal living. That was a big part of it. When we started out on this adventure, we didn't have any debt. The second thing is bartering. So when we lived in the Dominican Republic on that luxury resort for 2 months, we didn't have to spend a dime during that time. And so that was very helpful. A third one is odd jobs. it's really easy, I mean, depending on how long you stay in a place, but to find odd jobs on the road, whether it has to do with festivals and carnivals and peak seasons, or there was a place where I wanted to take gymnastics classes, and I tried the barter angle of maybe I could volunteer my time in exchange for the classes, and was told that wouldn't work because of liability reasons, but they could hire me for a month and pay me and give me the free classes. So there's that. And then the final thing is my educational film project, Faces of Israel, has really been taking off. It's something that I started myself. I interviewed and filmed, edited, translated, built a whole project and curriculum around it. And it's very much a solo operation of I'll call up universities, congregations, community centers, and see if they're interested in bringing me out to speak. And installing solar panels, it was Yair's idea and research and implementation, and it was something we did within the first couple of months of RVing. And it gave us tremendous amounts of freedom, because we have 4 solar panels on the roof, and the electricity that it provides is enough to power our phones and lights and computers and things like that. And so instead of needing to rely on a generator or camping at an RV park or anything like that, it really allows us the ability to boondock and to be wherever we want and however we want. And a second thing that contributes to our mobility is just a couple months ago, we bought a scooter.
It turns out that right now in Austin, this is the longest amount of time we've spent in any place. It's a very cool town. We've been here about 3 months. The arrangement we have here with regards to our RV is fantastic. We reached out to some people who were selling lots on Craigslist and selling homes, offering to rent their driveways. And we also reached out to some people on Couchsurfing, and we matched up with someone on Couchsurfing who had some free driveway space.
RVing is definitely not for everyone, but if it is for you, go home, write down all of the reasons why you can't do it, why it's absolutely impossible, and then with that list in hand, you can start working against it and getting yourself one step closer to the road. Because if this is something that you want, it's an incredible life experience and growth experience, and it'll be whatever you make it.